Okay, recording is in progress. So to celebrate our collaboration, right? So we thought it would be a good idea to do to have a bit of fun with memes rather than to have a dry conversation, right, about what the product design scene is all about. So let's have some fun. We've compiled a couple. I think people who are looking to join the industry or to perhaps, I don't know, upskill, right? In order to learn more, they will feel perhaps enlightened after this. We don't know, but we'll give this a go. So welcome to Avijit and Mo talking product design memes. Then round of applause or something. So yeah, we've got a couple of chapters in this. First, let's start with existential rants about what product design even is, right? And let's see what the internet had to say about this. So yeah, product designers, what my friends think I do, what my parents think I do, like being a bum or playing with Lego or some shit. And then yeah, I don't know. I think that's let you speak to it. You said this resonated with you, right?
Oh, sure. Of course. I think the whole product design world is kind of a little bit utopian from the outside, but as an insider, we can, the look is very different, right? And as the perspective shifts when you get inside, right? And on a day-to-day grind, things are very different. And people think, yeah, it's sexy to say that you are a product designer or you are a researcher or, you are into product innovation. But when it comes to, I particularly, like the one that you have pointed out here on the second row, the middle one, what I think I do. I think that's the more surprising one for me.
Yeah, and it's awesome, right? I think, but there's always an appeal to the industry, right? Because what society thinks I do is like, I'm the next Steve Jobs. And then sometimes what I think I do is like, we're doing time travel, we're like back to the future. And there's obviously something exciting to it, right? That draws all of us to this scene. And we'll talk a bit about, I guess, everyone's love-hate relationship with product. But to anchor it, we are talking about digital product design, right? And there's been a temperature shift, right? Or climate, how do you say, times are changing. And this was quite an interesting Reddit thread. It's industrial designers by training who are complaining that, oh my God, I'm trying to look for a job, and why do digital app designers call themselves product designers now? So, and you are a transition case yourself, right? So can you tell us a bit about that? How the scene is changing. Used to be a world of industrial design, used to be a world for designers, and there was a time when like coding was in demand. But what's changing now? And what is digital product design these days?
Sure. So before I get there, I think I want to say something about designers in general. Okay. So before we add any more qualifiers like a product designer or anything designer, let us understand who's a designer. I think a designer is definitely a person who is interested in user, right? And that is what makes us designers different from artists, so to speak. So how design is different from art can afford not to have any purpose. Okay, still it can be beautiful, and there would be a billionaire who is willing to share millions in an art auction to purchase that. But it is not so with products. It's not so with design, because design has to be purpose driven. It is always and always out there to solve a particular problem for a particular set of users, and that kind of makes designers different from artists, so to speak. Now coming to, let's say, adding further qualifiers like a product designer or a UI UX designer or a, let's say, experience designer, or let's say an industrial designer, it does not matter as long as you are solving a problem for a particular person or a persona. So you are a designer. So to answer this question, whether digital application designers can call themselves product designers, of course they can. Why on earth they will not call themselves designers? Because they are solving a problem. The only difference is the product is intangible. That's the only difference. Of course, there's a lot from the industrial product design world that has been translated into application design, and there's a ton of material, ton of knowledge which is sitting with the industrial designers, which has kind of a we can transport that, we can get those knowledge applied in the field of digital product design. So the answer is yes, digital product designers are also product designers. But again, as I said, as long as you are a designer, it does not matter whether you are applying a qualifier or not.
I love this. I love this. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I love that. I love that so much. I want to take a moment to just enjoy the quality of your answer, because I think it also gives a lot of hope to all who are, I guess, career transitioning, right? Because all of us are trying to navigate change. And if we think of the designer more broadly, right, then actually for as long as we are designing to solve problems out there, right, there's a lot of, I guess, common ground that we can also draw upon as we, I guess, look to perhaps even like seeing from another type of design skill, we move into digital app design or what have you, right? We are still kind of actually by and large in the same space, as long as we, I guess, learn to pick up, hard and soft skills along the way for the adaptation, right? Then, the term erosion, then, over the past 20 years shouldn't, I guess, be a cause of fear and confusion for job seekers that much, which is, a very reassuring answer to hear from you.
And of course, the design industry as a whole is evolving, right? Maybe 10 years back, if you say that you are a designer, that's good enough. If you say you are a product designer, people will stare at you. If you say that you are an experienced designer, people don't understand you. But things are changing now, okay? And the more and more we have, look at the sheer volume of products which are being launched on a monthly basis into the market, right? Look at the App Store, look at the App Store, and you'll see so many products are being launched on a daily basis, right? So that makes it even more pertinent for us to deliberately kind of slice up the whole gamut and scope of product design or design in general, and kind of define particular roles for people to aspire to, and then even the industry to appreciate that yes, there is a role, for example, like an UX writer. 10 years back, there was no such thing as an UX writer. There were copywriters for years, but UX writing is a very specific subset of copywriting. And then we did not know this. We did not need to know this even 10 years back, right? Now it is an established role, but even people do not know about it in detail, especially in a country like India, right? So
and a lot of these industries are emerging, right? And those who have been in the industry for longer, like they talk about the 90s and then the noughties, and there's been like this professionalization, right, of the scene, and thus like experience design, what the hell is that requiring? So there's an undeniable part of it, right, that it is requiring new specific skills from people who want to come to the scene. So from clarification back to confusion, then let's look at classical art, right? For, I guess, a deeper insight into what exactly it is you do in your scene. And I heard this is apparently what you do. When Mona Lisa touches your hands, it looks like this.
Yeah, I'm afraid I am more on that launched product side. Today we had a Thinking with Hands, an event. We do a weekly event called Thinking with Hands in Bangalore. And today we were actually discussing this, that what we think we are, what people know about us, and what we also know about perception and reality, right? And sometimes our idea of our reality, our perception of our own reality is very different from the actual reality, and it is even complicated when the other person has a different perspective of that reality, which is also different from actual reality. I hope I'm not confusing you enough. So yeah, it resonates with me what you are trying to get here in this minute.
Yeah, and if the earlier picture was about like society's view of what we do and versus what we think we do, right? And then this piece is, this also speaks to the internal chaos, right? Like what can become broken in the chain of command, and you ultimately work as a team, right? But you can have a vision for, I don't know, an MVP that looks somewhat like a Mona Lisa, but by the time it goes through, I don't know, marketing or sales, and it becomes a very different picture, right? It's a very chaotic inside in reality.
You know what? It's about what we are. We see it, what we have inside, we see it outside, you know. I would qualify that statement in a minute. What I'm trying to say is that, let's say product innovation does not happen in a void. We are talking about innovation, not invention. An invention can happen in a lab. One very intelligent, genius person can sit at a lab and invent something. But we are talking about innovation, and innovation is about problem solving. Innovation is also about making money, making it viable out in the market. So you should not burn out somebody's pocket, right? So in that case, you need multiple people. You know, to make an invention into an innovation, you need multiple people. It's not just the people who are ideating or the people who are designing, people who are developing, but also people who are selling, people who are, you know, actually using the product, and then after the sale, people who are supporting the customers using that product. So that said, you know, you have so many different, you have got 9 different perspectives here, right? And those 9 perspectives are coming from 9 different set of people who are coming from a very different background. And now you look at the same statement I told you, what we are inside, we see it outside. Now the sales guy is seeing this, you know, extremely hot somebody as the Mona Lisa, because he comes from that background that, okay, I need to make this business look and sound exciting, and he's not wrong in that, and therefore he's bringing in his own inside story or the narrative outside in the world, and therefore his narrative is extremely biased towards how he looks at this particular opportunity. Same thing happens when let's say a developer tries to decode. You know, I think the reason you have blurred this picture is because, you know, the whole idea, the opportunity has been originated somewhere else, and then it has been kind of dumped onto the developer that, look, something like this, we call it Mona Lisa, and then it is your job to build that for us and for our users. And it's extremely blurry because, you know, that person, the developer, does not have any clue that what is it which is behind, why we are doing this, you know, and then he does not have that pixel perfect, you know, granularity of information. It's basically a transmission loss. So I think I have spoken enough.
I love it, and in some sense, like, everybody is right? That's their version of events, and it really takes a team to. Yeah, I love that point you made about invention versus innovation.
Yes, so I would like to say that it's not everybody is right. I would say that nobody is wrong. I would rather say nobody is wrong. The truth lies somewhere in between. We do not know, right? The truth is always somewhere in between, right? So we do not know. And as you said, you rightly mentioned about the word intention, and I want to kind of pause there for a second and qualify that word. And, you know, I remember this guy called, if I'm pronouncing it right, I don't know, his name is George Spool. He's a extremely famous designer. He has got a very popular Twitter thread. I read his comment in one of his tweets, and he said, "Design is the rendering of intent."
Rendering of intent
is the rendering of intent, and anyone who renders intent is a designer, right? And I found it extremely deep and relevant to what we are talking today. Now here, what's the intent of the sales guy as opposed to the developer, as opposed to the founder, or maybe the designer, and then finally the user, right? So the whole idea is to cater to the intent of the user, the end user, right? If the end user's intent is not served well, the product is a failure. Period.
Love it. Love it. Love
now,
it.
if you ask me that if these 9 pictures and in this main, these 9 blocks that we have, if they represent 9 different perspectives of the same problem, looking at the same object from 9 different perspectives gives me, a different shape, right? A different story, different narrative. But the reality is that all 9 are true from their own perspective. But if you ask me, whose narrative is it, which kind of is the weakest link in the chain? They say that a chain is as strong as the weakest link, right? Now, in this all 9 of these blocks, I think the weakest link is the last one, which is talking about the user's perspective of what you have to offer. And if that is not flying, it doesn't matter. The other blocks does not matter. The other perspectives does not matter. So
just as well, I'm a user researcher, which is why I've been roped into the game, right? But yeah, we won't be talking about that in detail today, but a lot of what I've been hearing is trying to bring the user's voice back, and that's very reassuring also for the sort of like consumer type user facing human centric perspective, right? That's it's coming up a lot. I'm hearing that a lot in terms of the call for what next in the industry. So that's probably like a different podcast altogether. But you talking about like chain of commands, right? We don't have to dwell on this one so much, I think, but this is the internal team reality, right? I mean, although like all 9 perspectives are right, you need to learn to work together, right? And then it's not an easy task. So
it's interesting. Can you, in the interest of the viewers, can you read some of the word cloud that you have? I can't read it. It's a little tiny.
So it talks about how it's not easy to be a designer. The poor designer in reality is like, bro, it's urgent. I need it by 5. And then other people is like, hello, it's not center aligned. And then like, I will give you more projects. Another like client says, if you did this at a cheaper price, then like, so stuff like that. Can you,
particularly the last one resonates very well with me because, I also run a design studio, right? So, and I work as fractional CPOs and CDOs for early stage companies. And typically, people who are in early stage, of course, they are resource scarce. I have chosen to work with them because I love innovation. I want to help them. But at the same time, I have to run a business, right? I have to pay people's salary, pay rent for a fancy office. So then I need to also be paid fairly, right? I'm not asking for exorbitant price. And then often, people will come, my clients will come to me and they will say, okay, look, Avijit, you do this work for me, don't ask me money, or take something extremely low. I can't even mention that. and you know what? After we launch it, once it is a hit, you have a proof of concept. You can say that you can claim that you have been part of this whole journey right from the beginning. And that kind of serves you a social proof, which in turn will get you more business. So therefore, take less money from me. Does it work? Honestly, it does not. But sometimes, it's extremely difficult for a person like me to also say no to these opportunities, because the opportunities are really, really good. And the human being are coming to us for help, they're also good. So here I would say that on that perspective, you have this a weird 3-point rule that I follow. Okay, so for deciding which project to work on, as a maybe as a freelancer, if somebody is listening this, maybe it might help that guy as well. So how do you decide whether a project is good enough for you or not at this point in time? So I have 3 parameters. One, either it has to pay well, or the work has to be outstanding, or the person has to be outstanding who is giving you the job. So if you have any 2 of these 3 things, yes. If you have 2 out of 3 yes, you have the project. You should do that. So it has to be either pays well, and then great work but bad people, still do it, because it's great work and great money. So if it is great money but not so good work but great people, still do it, because that person might do something astoundingly well downstream, right? If it is not great money but great people and great project, still do it, because money will follow if you can deliver great work. So that's how I do it. But I think it's a little I sidetracked a little bit from the topic that you were trying to point here.
But it's after all a business, right? In an industry, and it exists always within this kind of client reality, right? Which is why I wanted to talk about that ongoing tension, right? It's like, why do we do this, right? It's like, let me die already, says the designer, right? But it's like, get out, client wants more changes, which is, right? Speaking directly to, I don't know, I think, I don't know, the love-hate tensions, the realities, but like, I guess the little spark of, I don't know, moments of genius that we look for, right? Like, if of the 3 parameters, if something clicks, then we're all for it, right? But
yeah, that's true. And you know what? This is absolutely true. I guess anybody who is a freelance designer, I've ever been into the design industry, they will appreciate this particular one. And you know what? It's also about, they will say, oh, it's just a few frames. It's few frames or a few screens on Figma. Why don't you just do it for free? And do it, you die. You don't have even time to do anything. I have clients who would call me on a Sunday, and I might say that, okay, I am going somewhere, so I don't have much time. Can we have the conversation on a Monday? And he would appreciate that. Oh, yes, I'm not going to take more time. Maybe it's 5 minutes, and we will continue our discussion for the next 45 minutes. And he would not be even apologetic about it. So that's the norm in this field. I mean, I think we better accept it. I guess this is part of the job.
Yeah, it's a challenging one, which is why I guess wanted to, as we go, like, speaking of death, right? And speaking of why, like, I don't know, why are we like in this, right? In spite of like, like sometimes when we are dying inside, and like there are challenges with like client servicing and meeting client demands, right? So why are we walking into this inferno, right? It's the third part that I want to take us to, and I wanted to boldly explore this tension, right? Because there are some perceptions out there that, the tech job market, I think, I don't know, does the opportunity really exist, right? Because like if you look at big tech or some catastrophic failings, or like Meta, like look man, no legs, it's like, or Netflix, like subscribe. It's like, I don't know, like I'm also quite keen on exploring the question of like, is that truth to there, being like a huge tech job opportunity out there, and like some job seekers do struggle, right? They say like, where are the tech jobs? I send in like 100 applications, but to no avail. And at the same time, like to like, how do you say it, in service of this hope, right? Then there's this bootcamp industry that's also emerging, and they are kind of like asking top dollar because they see this like money making opportunity on the back of this hope that job seekers have, that there is like a big tech job market out there. So what do you have to say to this? Is the opportunity genuine for job seekers in this whole bootcamp thing? Is it worth it for job seekers to go down this whole path? Is it really worth it for them? Yeah, so this is a big one for you.
Oh, good question. I guess, yeah, that's a good observation. Yeah. Now there are a couple of questions that you have packed into one. Let me kind of unpack it a little bit.
Yeah.
So this question is, for tech jobs, where is the tech industry headed? Is it creating more jobs, or let's say with an intervention like AI, is it taking away more jobs? Now, the answer to that is we don't know. We don't know yet, right? So of course, whenever there is a new technology which comes into the market, it disrupts, right? It disrupts the old way of doing things. It does not mean, of course, it means that there would be people who would lose their jobs. There would be functions which will not have any relevance, However, it also means that there would be new jobs created, a new role created, or maybe, precisely this was the point that we were discussing in today's event as well. Somebody asked something similar to this, that where are the jobs and what is the future of, let's say, designers? We are talking about design here, designers. Now, of course, if a designer is focusing on only Figma, let's say, or Sketch, or any other tool-based knowledge, his job is a function of how good he's in dealing with those tools. His job is definitely questioned. Okay, if he's only and only banking on, oh, I'm extremely good at Figma, or I'm moderately good at Sketch, or something like that, those days are gone, right? However, having said that, if you are a designer and your fundamentals and your foundational knowledge is clear, if you are on a robust foundation of design principles, theories, and user understanding, and you have matured your perspective on how to innovate new products, how do you empathize with users, and then block your own biases, to see the person where he or she is, and then build things for him and not for your investor, for your manager, for your any other people, right? So if you are in that zone, there's no better time than this for you, because you know what, using AI, using other technology, you can augment your productivity to a level that you have never seen before, right? Means that you can be more creative. You can, let's say, for example, let us take the example of, let's say, user research. Okay, traditionally what we do in a user research, we create a new user persona, we create surveys, we talk to people, we take feedback, we go back and revise our questionnaire, go back again in the market, talk to people, and then that kind of goes on. And then end of the exercise, we create maybe 3 user persona which is relevant for our product, let's say, as an example. Today, as opposed to that, and this process might have taken 6 months, 4 months, 3 months, I don't know, depending on the scope, right? But today, using let's say a generative model or any like ChatGPT 4 or GPT 3.5, you can train a user, you train a model which gives you insights based on whatever is available in the market on the internet, right? You can reduce, or rather accelerate, the pace of discovering user journeys, the pace of discovering user needs, both met and unmet, by using AI, by using generative models. You use it for research, but you do not use it, I would rather say that we have to always take whatever the AI model is throwing at you with a pinch of salt, and then you have to refine your model. Earlier, we were refining our persona based on our input, our understanding, our learnings from the market. We were refining our questionnaires. Today, we can refine the same questions. Instead of asking 50 people, we can ask the AI model. If you have used the prompts correctly, if you have refined your prompt, you can create agents which represent a particular persona, and then ask that person a question. And then whatever the model throws at you, take it with a pinch of salt, but then you definitely saved a ton of time and money because you have embraced the AI as a tool for your product discovery. and user discovery.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not about just having one skill set on like specific tools and standing still. It's about how you can continually evolve alongside tech change. And like, for example, in the case of AI, AI tech tools are being evolved now, and what that means for how we implement user research. I guess we'll still need to keep thinking on our feet, right? And like constantly adapt and evolve alongside technological change to stay relevant. And then it's those people who are the winners, right, in the tech job market. That it's not like everybody gets to win in this space. So then let's get into this tricky thing called boot camps, right? Like if I were a prospective student, right, and because like these things tend to cost a lot of money, and I don't know, I want to like shoot you with another difficult one, right? Like first I was giving you the Inferno, and then the tech industry on fire, and then the boot camp industry rising, right, from the ashes or what have you. So, but I don't know, if I were, a student, like I realized that, the tech industry inspired opportunity isn't that easy to get into, and I probably need skill sets. But, it's a very difficult decision, right? On like whether or not a boot camp is going to be worth it. Am I going to regret paying so much? What am I going to get at the end of it? What do you have to say to that kind of sentiment?
Sure. Yeah, so that was the second part of the question. Thanks for bringing it back, because I think I got carried away. Okay, so yes, the answer is that whenever we are talking about a bootcamp, what does it do? It's basically an acceleration program, right? You get into a bootcamp when you either want to kind of get into a new career, you want to switch your career to a particular area, or you already are in that industry but you want a kind of a reboot, shuffle your skill sets and kind of see what new you can learn and how you can go ahead, kind of a leap forward into your own domain. So in both of these two cases, I feel it would be not proper for us to say that bootcamps are right or wrong, because it is contextual, and especially because it's like, let me give you an analogy. So if I say that for outside foods are all bad, you should not eat at restaurants. That's too much, right? It's like, seriously, there are fantastic restaurants out there in the world, right, which serve you amazing dishes, and it can be also healthy. So you do not, I would say that these boot camps as a format are the messengers. You don't fire the messenger for the message, okay? If, let's say, I am running a boot camp and I do not do justice to the trust that my students and my participants have put on me, you cannot say that the bootcamp format is not working, right? Now, at the same time, so therefore the whole issue is, my advice to anybody who's seeking any bootcamp to kind of upskill themselves is that you do your research. You should do your research, and even before that, you should actually be absolutely sure that you want this. How badly do you want to get into product design? How badly do you want to become a good coder? How badly you want to become a fashion designer? Whatever is the topic or the subject, there are boot camps in the world, right? And the question is, do I really care about this particular field? If the answer is yes, then do consider a boot camp, because they can really give you a good starting foundation. Okay, they can give you a useful starting point, because the alternative to bootcamp is what? You have tons of video on YouTube, you have got tons of online courses on Coursera and the likes, and you know what, the percentage completion on the online courses, if you don't know the number, I'll tell you, it's single digit. It's in the range of 3 to 4%. The completion rate on platforms like Coursera, where you have best of the faculties from best of the universities, all Ivy League colleges, from MIT, Harvard, they need to have it. They come and they teach you. That means the quality of the lessons are great. The quality of even the video production is great. Okay?
Yeah.
People, and people pay, by the way, people pay for those courses and they do not complete. That's the reality. Why do you think that that's happening? It's not about quality of content or who is teaching you. It is also about what kind of motivation and drive you have. And online bootcamps typically does not serve that well if you are not self-motivated. See, nothing can stop a person to, from achieving something that he wants to, if he is really dedicated and, motivated enough, right? A motivated person can break any barrier. But we are talking about people who are not so motivated, not so motivated, and they're doing it for probably the wrong reason. If I am doing a bootcamp for the wrong reason, okay, I believe that this bootcamp is going to be a magic wand and I'll get a job in a tech sector with a high paying salary, right? And I asked somebody, okay, what is it that you want? What kind of salary expectation you have after this bootcamp, let's say, for example, and you are a fresher, and they will throw a number which is maybe 2x the industry average, okay, for a fresher. And then you ask them, how much time can you devote to this bootcamp? It's a full-time 3-month program. Are you willing to commit 8 hours a day for 3 months? The answer, oh no, I have so many other things to do. How much you are willing to pay for this bootcamp? Oh, some peanuts. You are not willing to, put your money on the table. You're not willing to put your time on the table, effort on the table, but you want, after this so-called, typical weekend online program, you should crack into a big ticket tech firm with a fancy job and a fancy cabin. Seriously?
So the investment really goes,
But if you have done your research well, if you know your reasons why you are doing this bootcamp, if you know that, okay, this also calls for my effort and my time, my commitment, right? And then I'm reasonably sure about the people who are teaching this. They are relevant people. They have the required background and the credentials. Then why not? This is a wonderful opportunity, not just for you to kickstart the learning, but also this close group of people that you will be working with. Typically in a bootcamp, let's say a short cohort of 50, 30, 20 people, they are going to be your lifelong ally in that career. So it's a fantastic opportunity to network as well, build your credential, and then kind of build your influence using a well-designed, well-delivered bootcamp. It can be fantastic for kickstarting a career into anything.
And what?
So
absolutely.
Any area of your desired career. That's what I'm saying. Not just product bootcamp or design bootcamp or coding bootcamps. Anything.
And it's about and it's about not standing still is the big one, I think, because you spoke a lot about, I guess, the attitude, right, we need to bring to the table, right? It's all about like not standing still. We talked about a lot about technological change, the challenges of the job market, right? And then just like, just to give a fun spin to the importance of the spirit of learning, right? As in whether you're a new graduate, like so lesson learned, we shouldn't be like asking to be paid 10x, 2x the industry price, and then wanting to pay peanuts for a course, then also not wanting to put in your own time, wanting to do a weekend silver bullet bootcamp. That cannot be the spirit, right? It's kind of like looking at learning a different way, right? And you said you resonated with this.
I absolutely love this picture because it so aptly describes me. Okay, if you ask me, if I go back for the first, let's say, product design that I did for a startup, if I look back and then hit on that work again, I would wonder, why did they pay me? You understand what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so the bottom line is this, Mo. They say that what gets you here will not take you there, right? What gets you here will not take you there. So
Yeah.
it's a continuous unlearning, along the
Yeah.
way. It's not just learning more and more and more things and tricks and to impress people. It's not that. The whole idea is let go what I have learned in the past. It has served me in the past. It has no place in my present and in the future. So I have to let go that lesson. I have to let go that baggage, right? So this is continuous unlearning and then relearning is what we need.
It never ends, right? Yeah, it never ends, whether you're already in the industry and you think in this one, right, you think this is what learning and your
I know a few things, I know most things, and I know all the things, and then I know nothing. Yeah. So this, I will tell you, I've seen people burn out of this. I've seen extremely talented people burn out of this this mindset that they feel that, oh my God, I have to let go all the things that I have known, right? And then I have to embrace new things, and I have to start as if it's new, as if it's my first day at work. And that feeling does not resonate well. It does not sink into a lot of people, even though they are talented. It's about that thing in our mind, right? That how willing am I to let go what I am today, in the spirit of what I can become? How willing am I to let go what I am today, in the spirit of what I can become?
Wow.
And people who can do that, people who can leave that mindset, they're unstoppable. You can't stop them.
I love that. Yeah.
Doesn't
It's
matter
something
what age.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, that's like, and this is the perspective, right? Those are the pains. That was the pains of people who think they already know and then have to unlearn. And this is a classic pain point, right?
I agree. And in fact, you know what? My heart goes out to all the people who are looking for making a career in a new area, maybe in design, maybe in coding, whatever it is. This is true. The problem is, even, the funny thing, I'll tell you one story. I saw one in one of the job descriptions long back, okay? Because I have left my job many years back. But back then, when I was into the job market, I used to look for, jobs and look at other job descriptions. And let's say there is a thing called X, which has come in the market only maybe 8 months old. That technology is 8 months old, let's say, okay? And some HR, with all the respect to the HR fraternity, some HR executive wrote down, maybe copy-pasted a JD from another job description. And then she would typically write, okay, so and so, we need your expertise in X, and minimum experience is 5 years into this. You need to have 5 years of experience dealing with X. But come on, X is only 8 months old in this market. And that's this excuse me. This also brings a very pertinent point here, which is about how companies hire talent today. Okay, it is not a generic work. It's not that you float a requirement and you filter people based on resumes. Especially in the field of design, resumes does not mean much. You need to see the work of the people. You need to see how much of depth they have. You need to see whether they are willing to learn. You need to see how fast they can learn, right? So it's not about how many years they're carrying on their baggage. It is about how fast they can adopt, how fast they can adapt, and how fast they can deliver results on the ground. And therefore, you will see the hiring trend is that people are, I think one point in time you mentioned, not in this conversation, about the challenges of Ivy League colleges and the super expensive education that they provide you over 4 years, and then by the time you graduate, those
Yes.
technology stack is no more relevant in the job market. So you start again. Where do you go? You go to such boot camps. You go to a boot camp 3 months. You are at least on the same podium with other people who have got that skill set, and then you have a chance to at least stand and look for a job for yourself. So yes, I mean the whole hiring perspective has to also change, and I think that change is already happening in the market, and therefore boot camps are going to stay here. I mean, that's one reason why boot camps are going to stay here, is that the regular traditional education system is not doing the justice that they're supposed to their students in terms of upskilling them and making them at par with what the industry expects them to deliver from day one in a job.
I love that. I love that. But then, and I want to use that as a jump off point also for saying that actually not all boot camps and not all portfolios are the same, right? As in, I don't know, I just want to be able to talk about, I guess, how you say, not only the challenges, right? Like the change needs to come from everyone, needs to come from students with the right sort of ongoing learning attitude, like existing job transition people, being willing to unlearn what they used to learn, like people, the employers not adopting that sort of like HR filter mindset, right? To as if like looking at the CVs would help them find the best person for the job. And then boot camps clearly have a role to play, right? But then it's quite interesting that, like the some boot camps claim that, they help the students create portfolios, but there's a certain artificiality to it. And then there's, I don't know, tell me more about that. And then like people who put their behance projects, right? Then all the thanks they get for it is other prospective job seekers asking them to, discover their portfolio.
I call this scratching each other's back.
I'm second but curious.
You scratch each other's back because that feels good, but it does not serve the purpose. Okay, so you are right. It's like on platforms like nothing against the platform, by the way, I love them, like Dribble or Behance or any other portfolio-based platforms. The crowd is all the same. It's like one designer looking at another designer's work and then maybe complimenting or criticizing, whatever. That has value, by the way. That has value. But the whole idea of creating your portfolio is to be present and visible in front of a potential recruiter, right? So so that's true that you have got 300 comments, nice work. But it actually means not much to a recruiter. We have to understand it does not serve the recruiter. You are not building social proof by having 300 likes on Behance. And you might say, why not? Because 300 other people like my work. But I would take those likes with a pinch of salt, right? Because people who are hiring you, they're not stupid people, right? They're running a business. One look at your work and they will know whether those 300 likes are deserving ones or not.
Yeah, and I know we are big advocates of like real world case studies, right? Solving real problems rather than fabricated problems.
Yes. So, if you ask me, then, what good is a portfolio then? I would say it's an amazing, amazing way to showcase what your interests are and what you are good at. But you know what? If you are relying solely on creating a fake, so-called fake, I'm saying because it's all fictitious stuff, half done, half-heartedly done, I would say. Those kind of projects, which are there, you have put onto the world, and you think that okay, you have a portfolio, and therefore you should get a job. You should get a call to an interview. No, you will not. You have to understand, why do you need a portfolio? What purpose should a portfolio serve for a job seeker? The single important purpose of a portfolio is to get you an interview call. Period. It will not get you the job. It will get you an interview call. Okay. And then people come to me and say that, okay, I'm a rookie. I'm just started out. Where do I get the projects? Where do I get the projects? What should I showcase in my portfolio? I have three answers to them. Okay, number one, if you do not have anything, zero background, okay, you can always start from let's say the treasure trove is sitting on your smartphone. You have, let's say, 50 apps on your phone. Pick up 3 of them that you like, okay, and then do a product tear down, a design tear down. Bring out what works and what does not work. Be it wrong, it's okay, it's your opinion, but you do that work, and then people know you have an eye for spotting good design. You can tell good design from bad ones, right? So that's one. Product tear down, that's must, right? You can do that. Second thing is, if you are, let's say, part of a bootcamp, for example, in our bootcamp, our bootcamp for product designers, which we call Enhance. In that, what we do is we source projects from early stage companies, because we are in the heart of the startup ecosystem in Bangalore, in HSR. So we have access to our own network of founders who are looking for help, because in the early stage they are resource frugal. If you go and offer them help, they will happily take it, right? So you go them and tell them, okay, what is bothering your product? Where are you stuck? Can I help you? I don't need any money. Can I have some people work on your projects? They would be not say no, right? Who's going to say no to offers like that? We source them, and then we kind of refine those problem statements and give it to our participants. They work on those problem statements in a job simulated environment. I stress that job simulated because it's not a classical thing. You are working on a live project, right? And you work on a sprint by sprint basis. Every sprint you deliver one piece of the puzzle, right? You decode one piece of the puzzle, and then by the end of 12 weeks you have a fantastic story, a fantastic at least, even if it is a failed effort, even that documentation of that effort is a ton of value for a potential recruiter, for you, because the recruiter now knows that you know how to deal with a real life problem. You can deal with a real design challenge, right? So that's a great value, right? And then finally, you can always pick up a dream project that is your work of fiction, but it can be your capstone project. You can build things around it. You can think as if you are a founder of that company, and then of that product, and then how do you want to shape the user experience using your imagination? If you do these 3 things, your portfolio is up and running. It's working for you. It will do the work that it needs to do. It needs to do in order to get the next interview for you. So portfolios do have a place. Portfolios, as a designer, you cannot take them for granted. But if you believe that just by putting few random pages and random screens on places like Dribble and Behance, you'll get a job. It's time to rethink.
Yeah. And to wrap this up, right? Thank you so much, Avijit. That was so fun. And I think to wrap this up, I just want to reiterate, I guess we all need that leg up, right? We talk about the challenges as job seekers and in a very, I guess, ever evolving tech industry. We talked about working from sprint to sprint, and we're going to be up and running with the right support and training. And I say good boot camps and mentors, because they're not all alike. Then I guess the only message we'll leave with is that you can't just found on YouTube knowledge, right? You can't YouTube your way to glory.
It's true. I can only say all the best to all those people who are trying to do exactly what you are describing here. It takes a long. They say that there is a saying, right? They say that it takes a village to raise a kid, right? There's a saying. It said that it takes a village to raise a kid, meaning there's a lot that goes into making a boy a man or a girl a woman. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And similarly, let's say if we feel that today we have internet, we have Google, we have free stuff. I would say that all the information and knowledge that you probably need in order to become anything, designer or coder or anything, be a motivational speaker, doesn't matter. All the information, all the knowledge is out there in the internet. There are people who are willing to share it for free. Okay. But the challenge with this is that the search cost, the time it will take for you to get to the point that, okay, you know what, the last 3 months, whatever I have read, whatever I have invested my time on, 90% of them are no good. I don't need that. I needed only that 10% of. Now that is the value of curation, right? So if somebody can come in, a coach, a mentor, somebody comes in and tells you, look, go through these 10 articles, go to these 15 videos, brush up your skills on XYZ tool sets, and then you have a good start. You have a good start, right? So that the job of the coach is done. It's over, right? Because he has given you, let's say, 20 years of his learning in 20 hours of a bootcamp. Or let's say 12 weeks of 15 weeks of a bootcamp. He has done his job. Now you have a fantastic start, and then you can afford to experiment, to play, and because you are on the right side of time. You have not spent 3 years to figure out what you can do in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So
love it.
So therefore, I would say that the coaches and the mentors and the people who are experts in their own domain and who are willing to share, it's always best to go and learn from them. Self-learning, self-journey is absolutely amazing, brilliant if you have the liberty of time. If you do not want time-bound results, then that can be your path. But if you want time-bound results, you have to rely on somebody else.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, thanks so much, Avijit. This was so much fun. Now I can release you to your cheesecake.
Cheesecake, I'm into it. I love cheesecakes.
Yeah, and that was product design memes with Avijit and Mo. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Mo, for curating all this beautiful stuff. I hope to do more like these sessions in near future.
Yeah, love it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.